evening, and welcome to the February 2nd meeting of PD Toastmasters Club 9523. My name is Michelle Hennekes. I am the current Vice President of Education, sitting in tonight for Steve Aaronholz, our President, who was unable to attend. I'd like to welcome our guests in our studio audience, as well as those looking in from home. We meet every first Thursday of the month at 6 p.m. and every third Saturday of the month at 9 a.m. at the Anderson Community Center, located at 7850 5 Mile Road. So please join us. I'd like to also extend a warm welcome to the guests that have joined us in our audience today. We have quite a number. We have 5 of them tonight. So we have Teresa Glenn, who will be speaking tonight, and she's also a distinguished Toastmaster. Looking forward to hearing that, Teresa. We have 3 gentlemen that were kind enough to work the cameras. We have Dwight Perry, Nathan Perry, and Brian Haberman. So thanks to you guys. And finally, we have Marcus Grooms, who was also kind enough to fill a role tonight. So, oh, and then Anita, our newest member. So she's no longer a guest; she's a member. Welcome, Anita. So now it's time to turn it over to our Toastmaster, Carol Kormelink. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer, and most welcome guests. That's the first time I have to look at your face, so I will recognize you again. We're glad to see so many people here. All the clubs have been having an influx of members. We're having of guests. Most of the clubs are having as many guests or more than the members, and they're joining. So this is a great time to update your skills and communicate better. And when people say, that's the first time you ever listened to me, you know you've learned one of the Toastmaster skills: listening, thinking, and then speaking. We will start off today with our word power all-counter grammarian, who is Marcus Grooms, our guest. Let us welcome Marcus Grooms.
Thank you, Ms. Carroll. Very nice to see you this evening. So, I have the distinguished privilege of being the grammarian and the all-counter. And I'll be watching and listening. Our word of the day is doyen. And the definition of doyen is a woman who is the senior member of a group, class, or profession. Do any of you need it used in a sentence to further clarify it? Well, let's visit our old friend, Inspector Neely. He propounded to himself 3 separate, highly colored reasons why the faithful doyen of the typist room should have poisoned her employer's mid-morning cup of tea and rejected them as unlikely. That is brought to you by a Agatha Christie novel, A Pocket Full of Rye. So good luck with the doyen, and good luck with your ahs and ums and ohs and all that other stuff.
Okay, are you leaving up here for us to look at so we know to use that in here? Thank you very much. Doyen. So they call me the doyen of Toastmasters. That's a difficult word, D-O-Y-E-N-N-E, and it's a noun. The trick is when you're up here at the lectern, see if you can use that word. Fit it into what you're talking about today. That will be challenging. Our next impromptu is the Tabletopics Master, who is Michelle Hennekes, who will be giving us questions, catching us off guard, and making us think better at our job.
Thank you, Madam Doyen. So next is the Tabletopics, which is one of my favorite parts of the meeting because it allows us to practice the impromptu speaking, which, as Carol mentioned, happens in our everyday lives, so it gives us a chance to think on our feet. So what I'll do is I'll actually ask a question, and then I will select somebody out of the audience to answer it. And you basically have from the time you get out of your chair up to the podium to think about what you're going to say, and then you have essentially a time frame of 1 to 2 minutes to respond. So let's get started. So February, I'm a little partial. This is my favorite month of the year, and it's also my birthday month. So But interestingly enough, although it's the shortest month of the year, there's a lot of holidays that fall in February. Today was Groundhog Day. It's the holiday celebrated on February 2nd in the U.S. and Canada, and according to folklore, if it's cloudy and a groundhog comes out of its burrow, if it sees its shadow, that means we have if it's cloudy and it does not see its shadow, springtime is on its way. If it's sunny and it sees its shadow, that means we have 6 more weeks of winter. So Darren, you're a groundhog. You come out of your burrow today. Tell us what you see and what it means for the weather.
Thank you, Michelle. If I'm a groundhog, first thing I'm thinking is, why won't you let me sleep? I'm a hibernating mammal. I need my sleep. Secondly, I'm thinking, February is the worst month of the year because it's cold. There's all this pressure with Valentine's Day, especially I don't need it as a groundhog. And the only great thing about February, which is the Super Bowl, means nothing to me because I don't have a television inside my burrow. The only good thing about my life is the fact that there was a movie made about me. That's the only great thing about being a groundhog. Otherwise, it's just a horrible job. So as far as I'm concerned, I hope you all have 2 more months of winter because I don't care. I'm going back to sleep. Toastmasters?
Thank you, Darren. You bring up a good point. I forgot about Super Bowl falling in February this year, so maybe that's an additional question. So you mentioned Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is in honor of St. Valentine, and it was essentially originally a Christian holiday to honor these martyrs, and then it has become the holiday of lovers. So people express their love for each other with gifts and flowers and cards. So is Valentine's Day really a Hallmark holiday? So do you like it or dislike it, and why? Chris?
Well, I would say that it is a Hallmark holiday. My wife would say, no, it's not. It's a romantic holiday. I'm not she would not classify me as the most romantic person, so I think if I probably did something this Valentine's Day coming up here in a couple of weeks, it would actually probably put her on the floor in shock. But it's, I think, of all of the Hallmark holidays, it's one that's been a real tradition. I know there's holidays like now Grandparents' Day and a lot of things that are made up because Hallmark is trying to, not just Hallmark, but other companies are trying to sell a lot of merchandise and trying to make up those holidays so they can have additional sales. So of all of the Hallmark holidays, I think this one is the best, and maybe I should reflect on this and actually do something this time around and actually surprise my wife more so than just giving her a card. So.
Thanks, Chris. So your wife will have me to thank. I think that's a really good idea. I'm sure she'll appreciate it. So February 20th, which happens to be my birthday, is also President's Day. So it came about in honor of President Washington to celebrate his birthday, which actually falls on the 22nd, but we made it a federal holiday and always celebrate it on the 3rd Monday of the year. So who's your favorite president and why? Anita. Thank you.
Who is my favorite president? Well, I'm still waiting for my favorite I'm still waiting for the most recent favorite, but for my favorite, I'd say George Washington, because what our founding fathers created has been, there is no better world, place in the world to live. And the United States, I'm very proud to live here, and we have our founding fathers to thank for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Anita. And we'll do one more question. So this year is a leap year. So leap year is a year containing an extra day, and it's in order to keep the calendar synchronized with the astronomical or the seasonal year. So let's say leap year is an extra day where we can do whatever we want. It gets erased from the books, so your boss doesn't know what you do, nobody else knows what you do. How would you spend that? Shankar?
That's a really interesting question, and it makes one think what you would do on an extra day. Honestly, I never thought about it. If you had asked me like just a day ago, I would have said nothing, but now it makes me think that I want to really do something. If I had the money, I would really want to go to moon. Which is not political now, but just saying. It would excite me. I'm really interested in astronomy. I catch up with almost all the programs on TV that talk about astronomy, and it always excites me. And moon is one of the most nearest astronomical thing that we have, and we look at it every day, and we don't know what's going on there still, and it shines bright every night. So I really want to go to moon, hoping I have the money. Thank you.
I heard you get to go to the moon. And actually, I'm going to throw another question in there because Darren triggered the Super Bowl, and I'm curious to see what people think. So is it going to be the Giants or the Patriots, or do you not care and you worry about the commercials? Marcus? Do you not want to come up?
I didn't.
Okay, then how about this? I'll answer that. I think it's going to be the Patriots. I'm a Tom Brady fan. I mean, he's a great football player. He's also an attractive man, so I'm a big fan of him. Commercials, I think, have actually gotten worse over the years, but I've seen some previews, and I think they're going to be good this year. So I kind of enjoy the whole piece of it, and I'm interested to see what Madonna is going to pull out at the halftime show. So that concludes our table topics.
Thank you, Madam Tabletopics Master. Very good questions. They had the theme, but they were each different. We now come to the prepared presentations, our prepared speeches. The winning tempo, and that will be a 5 to 7 minute speech from the training on television, the advanced manual where you are actually, she would be training. So many people join Toastmasters to overcome their fear of public speaking. But once you're up and talking, then what do you say? Here to share with us some speech advice from a Toastmasters world champion from 2011 is distinguished Toastmaster Teresa Glenn, the winning tempo, Teresa Glenn.
No one is interested in your stupid, boring, dull life. People don't want to hear a speech. People want to feel an experience. That advice was given to me by, and many other people such as Toastmasters Joy and Carol, by David Henderson, who won the world championship, I think, in 2011 of Toastmasters. He was politer about it. He didn't say your life was stupid, and I said that. But we all have lives. You know how it is. What people want to do is feel an experience. So just don't tell people a story, and most of all, don't tell them somebody else's story. Tell them your story. What is your story? Tell them a personal story. That's key in tempo. Tell us a personal story. It is a story that other people can easily relate. David Henderson used Star Wars as an example. Has everybody seen Star Wars? Any of the Star Wars movies? I've been told that when David Henderson was a boy, he could recite the first Star Wars movie whenever he was. So he knows quite a lot about Star Wars. What makes Star Wars personal, it's a journey for what we think is a young hero going out, answering the call to adventure, and learning about resources inside himself about which he never knew. So that's a personal story that to which everyone can relate. E is emotionally connect to your audience. Give them a story that brings them in. When in Star Wars, we understand how boring it is on the farm for Luke. We want to go out and have chase adventures just like he did. Emotionally connect with your audience. The third thing is to make the message stick. M is for making the message stick. What you do with that is humor. There's a ton of humor in the Star Wars movies. We have R2 and 3PO bumbling around. We have Han and the Millennium Falcon. The Millennium Falcon, has everyone noticed it doesn't work that well? It's always breaking down, and they're running around trying to fix it and trying to do stuff, trying to keep it going. The Imperials are on their tails all the time. The Imperial stuff never breaks down. It always works perfectly. And it's always going on. Make the message stick with a little humor. And for the princess, is not a damsel in distress so much as she is a distressing damsel. She's yelling at the rescuers, telling them that they don't know what they're doing with the rescue, and she's going to take over the rescue because she knows what's going on. The fourth thing is to punch him in the gut. Punch him in the gut. End of Act 2. Luke's mentor disappears. Darth Vader's sword cuts straight through him. Bam, he collapses. He's gone. Punch him in the gut. Give them something to worry about. Raise the stakes in your experience. And the last thing is to open up the audience. I'm going to switch my medium for a minute. Wise men say only fools ration, but I can't help falling in love with you. So beautiful. Elvis never did that. Elvis never cried. Elvis made the audience cry. Open up the audience. Don't open up yourself. Keep command of your story. Get that emotion out of the audience. That's what they come for. They love it. David Henderson's speech was about the best medicine. It was a story and it had in common with Star Wars that you don't find out what's really going on at the beginning of the story when you think. You think the story's about a little boy visiting an old lady who's sick in the hospital, and at the end of the story there's this big revelation. I really hope I'm not spoiling this for anybody, but Darth Vader is Luke's father. Who knew that when we started the story? Oh, you did not. And it turns out the whole story, we're 5 hours into the saga, right? We watched the first movie, we're about an hour and a half into the second movie, and Luke's not really the hero. The story's about Darth Vader. What happened that Luke's father, who he'd idealized and wished he'd known and he wanted to be like, he turned into this big, scary, evil guy in the big helmet. What happened? So we're coming out of the second movie and we're like, that's the punch in the gut. And that opens up the audience, because we're with Luke, we want to be with Luke, we're cheering Luke, we're seeing how he's growing up, and we get this punch in the gut, right along with Luke, by the way, who also did not take the news in a very amiable manner. So that's what you do in your speech. Find something to say. Tell a personal story. Don't just get something you read off the internet and try to pretend it's yours. Audiences pick up on that. Connect emotionally with your audience. Make the message stick with humor. Don't be afraid to punch them in the gut, because you can't earn that emotional response from the audience just for nothing. Open up the audience and make a good speech and make your message. People were crying when David Henderson gave that speech, and audiences love it. He gave them what they wanted. No one wanted to hear about how boring it was to go visit this old lady in the hospital. He opened them up. He punched them in the gut. And he gave them a great experience, and he brought home a big trophy, and I hope one day all of you do too. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much for that delightful speech. I enjoyed David Henderson. He is fantastic. He made me cry at both of his winning speeches that I saw.
Name an effective political leader in history who couldn't speak well. There aren't any.
Because when it comes to a disease,
Freedom requires leadership, and leadership requires oratory. You have to speak to be heard. I have a dream. It's all about personal growth and guts.
Never give in. Never, never, never.
We are now back. Our second speaker this evening will be speaking from the Competent Communicator Manual, giving Project 3, which is Get to the Point. I love it that he gave me a very interesting speech style that makes me want to find out what is going on with the break-in encounter analysis and results from Shankar Raswa. The break-in encounter analysis and results, Shankar Raswa.
Thank you. Thanks, Carol. So following the footsteps of Teresa, she set a high bar, but she gave a good message, and I would like to pick at least, if not 100%, at least halfway there in the speech. So let's see. So the break-in encounter. I wanted to share a personal message on how I encountered a break-in last October, one of the cold Monday mornings. That's not actually the first time. The first time I wasn't there. This is actually the second time, and I was there. And I wanted to analyze the whole situation and present the results because I am an analyst and that's my profession. It was a cold Monday, October morning. It was just like any other day, waking up, getting ready, doing the normal things, and it was I was late that morning, about 9:45, getting a shower, shirt, trousers on, and searching for my belt, running around the apartment. Meanwhile, I immediately went to the kitchen and I prepared some food last night and put it in the microwave for 45 seconds. In my microwave, once the time is done, it immediately rings a bell, and if I don't open it, after 15 seconds, it rings another bell. When this was going on and still I haven't even worn my shoes, suddenly I hear a knock on the apartment door just opposite to me. And I look through the peephole and I see some really crazy things. Some people are there were two men doing some fast movements, knocking on the door, and it made me really, really suspicious, and it was no doubt in my mind they are up to the other apartments as well. So 2 months before that, there was a break-in my place. To give you a picture of my apartment and where I live in Mount Adams, and I'm on the third level. It has 6 apartments and a long hallway. And I have a balcony overhanging by the street side, and there is a tall tree, probably a coniferous one. That's for explanation's sake. Name it as Esther. My neighbor wasn't there. My opposite apartment is vacant, and about 2 or 3 apartments on the floor of the 6 apartments are vacant. And now I'm in a situation, I'm witnessing a break-in there, 2 intruders, and I don't know what to do. And then in the next few moments, which seem to be the longest in my life, I have been going through so many wild imaginations of the whole scenario of what I could have done and what I should do and what I am doing, all sorts of things. I used to live in Tennessee 4 years ago, and I used to work at Oak Ridge National Lab there, and I was really friends with one of my administrative secretaries. When I was moving from Tennessee, she really, really advised me to buy a gun. And I was laughing at her. Why should I buy a gun? Because you're moving north. Shankar, you should be safe. Gun will keep you safe, and you should buy a gun. And I did not believe her until that very moment, that morning when I was getting ready to office. It never struck me. I was always laughing at her. But that moment I felt, maybe I should have listened to Joanne. Joanne was her name. If I had a gun, I would have felt much safer that morning. I did not. So that option for me is not there. In such situations, psychotherapists and psychologists know this better. Humans tend to go back to the animal nature, the flight or fight response. if there was a break-in in your place, which response would you choose, Carol? Well, you're courageous. I was summoning up all my courage, my strength, and everything to run. But I didn't know where to run. When this is all happening, it's probably 5 or 10 seconds after I hear the knock, after I see through the peephole. This is all in flashes, like coming to me, like my brain is going so fast. I'm sweating. I'm panting. And I don't know how to run. I'm on the 3rd floor. It is not easy for me to jump away. So then I made my first 911 call. And you know what you hear from the other side when you make a 911 call? A very important thing I didn't know. Just calm down. Can you believe it? Just calm down. That's what they said. They asked me my own address and I wasn't able to spell it out correctly. I've been living there almost for a year now and I couldn't tell my address properly. And somehow I tried to calm down. Probably this is 20 or 25 seconds into the whole situation after I saw them. I placed the call, they talked to me and they cut off the phone. They told a cop will be or officer will be coming to my place pretty soon. And I didn't know what they meant by soon, pretty soon. So I opened the glass door going into the balcony, and I was thinking maybe I'll jump out now from the 3rd floor. I wasn't sure. I can actually get into the neighbor's balcony too, but I wasn't very confident that the intruders haven't gone there because in the previous break-in, they broke into all the 6 apartments on my floor. And I was hearing something from the other side, so I wasn't sure if I should go to the next apartment. That wouldn't make me any safer. And I see this tree, this old, hideous tree, Esther, right? It's like a coniferous tree, not a whole lot of branches. The leaves were all shedding, so even if I jump on it, I'll probably will not jump on it like at the floor level. I will probably go and grab the tree maybe 10 or 15 feet down after I fall down and then slide through the tree and then rip off my muscles, vastus internus, rectus femoris, abductor longus, sartorius, pectineus, psoas magnus, all the muscles from my knee up to my groin. And then all I'll do is land into the kingdom of Maggie. Maggie is the 1st floor apartment lady's dog, which I'm not really friends with. And when I was about to do this, I see the cop car and they come upstairs and I was waiting. I thank God that I did not take the jump. I almost summoned up everything to take the jump and I did not. And the cop shows up, he knocks the door. And did you call the cops? I said yes. And they were all looking at me and these 2 guys were there. Now these 2 guys were there and they were looking at me as if I have to give a speech. And they were saying, and I saw some suspicious activities. So I thought these 2 are intruders. And they were saying, no, we just got this Monday morning to start the carpentry work in the opposite apartment. Didn't your manager tell you that, building manager? I thought, let me give her a call. And she told, I emailed you a week ago. My suggestion to you all is be careful to read your email and that will protect your groin. Thank you.
Thank you for that killer humor, Shankar. You know, I called 911. I was at my niece's and they asked the address. I have no idea. I know how to get there. I don't know what her address is. I had to run out on the porch and look, and then they asked something else. I don't know. They have all that. I guess they're just checking to see there's not a prank call. I don't know.
Thank you very much. And now for our next speaker, Stanley Lichtner.
Speaking in public doesn't have to be a death sentence. At Toastmasters, we can help you overcome your fears.
To our general evaluator who will do the evaluation portion of our meeting, Darren Henderson, Advanced Toastmasters Bronze.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Carol. As Carol mentioned earlier, this is the evaluation portion of our meeting, and this is a very important part of the meeting for Toastmasters because this is where our speakers are able to get feedback on their performance. And Teresa mentioned earlier about a world champion speaker. I assure you that even a world champion speaker, from time to time, has a couple things that the person can work on. So no one is above a little good evaluation. So this is one of my favorite parts of the meeting. And to start us out, evaluating Teresa Glenn will be Anita Barron.
Thank you, Darryl. Well, obviously, Teresa Glenn, it was a very good speech. Thank you very much, and I could definitely relate to it. And you are definitely a doyen in the rising for sure, behind Carol, the doyen of all. David Henderson, I had the privilege of actually seeing that presentation in Columbus, and it was very good. So I think there's a great analogy to be able to tie to what your speech was about. Using the tempo was a very good way for someone in the audience to remember what you're saying and the fine points you're trying to make. So very effective on that. And I believe that you accomplished your objective for this, and I think you're through almost with this book, aren't you? So you'll start over, hopefully, because we thoroughly enjoyed your speech. Thank you.
Our next evaluator, evaluating Shankar, will be Chris Tian. All right, Tian, ours.
Either way.
Tian.
If you're the odd counter, that's one.
Put your name in bold.
Yeah. I'm not going to use or call Shankar a doyen because I don't want to insult him. So, but that is the use of the word of the day. First off, I thought Shankar's, obviously, his speech was very humorous. And actually, when it started off, I thought it was going in a completely different direction. I thought it was going to be something more of a dangerous, not humorous story, but more of a dangerous story. So I thought it was. I thought there were some tangents at points as far as the lead-in and the body and then the conclusion. So it could be, if any kind of constructive thing, it could be structured just a little bit better to kind of lead in. You were very confident when you were speaking and relied very little on notes. So that's tremendous to be able to go through that story. The imagery that you use, I was able to kind of envision in my mind when you were getting ready for work in the morning and you're kind of walking around getting breakfast ready and you look out the people. That was good imagery for the audience, to bring the audience in. I thought it was also good that you asked the audience a question, asked Carol a question, so it kind of brought the audience in more. So I thought that was real good. Let's see, my notes are a little messy. So something that's to be more effective is a little more structure. And what I really liked about it was the humor and the change in the story. Like I said, I was thinking there was going to be some kind of a dangerous situation, but it ended up being actually a very funny story and a very good speech. Overall, I think that was good. No ahs or uhs, and did not use the word of the day, but was very confident in your presentation.
That's perfect. Okay. Our next participant in the evaluation portion of our meeting is our R-Counter grammarian. So please welcome Marcus Grooms.
Thank
The joiner.
The doiner. That's
I was trying to
the male
get a cheap one in.
The male version is doing, I think, as in gone. Interesting. Well, thank you both for the speeches this evening. I enjoyed the structure, and there's a new word I've learned tonight. Miss Teresa graced us with the word politer, and I'm not sure how that comes about or where it's at in the dictionary, but I found it interesting nonetheless. We'll go back to it at some point. I was amazed at how few times you used the word but there was one. So if you want to use it for anything. And Shankar, I think there were 3 times that I noticed where you used the word in your delivery, but very nice. And thanks to the both of you for standing up here and presenting your viewpoints.
Right. Next member of our team will be the timer's report. Our timer's getting prepared. Please welcome Mary Arm.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. Well, the timer report, it was great tonight. At least I thought so. In the word power, doyen, it was 54 seconds, the whole explanation of it. In Tabletopics, Darren, you were 53 seconds. Chris, 1 minute and 9 seconds. Anita, 28 seconds. Hey, I got you beat. I did 35 last week. And Shankar, 58 seconds. Now on the speakers, Teresa, it was 5 minutes and 54 seconds. And I've seen all the movies. I got just one weekend. Shankar, 8 minutes and 36 seconds. And the evaluators, Anita, 1 minute and 10 seconds, and Chris, 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Marcus, on the grammarian, 52 seconds. And Darren, 34 seconds. And thank you very much.
Okay. I'll just like to give a couple of general comments about the meeting, how things went. We started about 6:18 today, and this is always going to be a tough meeting to get started in a good time because people are rushing from work, and I got here late myself, so I'm going to say 6:18 probably isn't too bad. So give us a pass on that one. This is always going to be a tough one at 6 o'clock, so I think that the group here did a good job of getting started as quickly as we possibly could get started. I really did like the Tabletopics questions. Thought they were very timely and lent themselves to good responses. I'm very disappointed in myself only giving 53 seconds. Very disappointed to hear that. I thought we had very good speeches. I enjoyed both of them. I'm a Star Wars fan, so I really like the way you weave Star Wars in there. And Shankar, very interesting story with that punch at the end. That was a great story and a great way to end it. I did not expect that, so that was a great twist. And the evaluations, Anita and Chris. Anita, I thought you gave some really good comments to Teresa. One thing I do like to see, though, like I said earlier, even the best of speakers, there's always one little thing you can pick out. So I would have liked to see maybe one little tip you could have given Teresa to make a little bit better speech. And Chris, I thought you did a good job. You did give a couple comments about things you thought Shankar could have done a little bit better. One thing which I'm good at preaching things I don't do myself. But one thing which I would like to see all evaluators do, and I say that because I'm very bad about not doing this myself, is actually read the goals of their speech when you come up here. And the next time I evaluate, I guarantee you I'll miss that. But overall, good job. And one thing I'll say about evaluations are, regardless of how much Toastmasters experience you have, really evaluating isn't about being an expert speaker. It's really about just listening and seeing what you thought the person could have done better. So it's actually pretty simple when you think about it. But overall, good job. I thought, once again, a good meeting. It's great to see this many guests in the house. So I think overall, this is a very successful Thursday meeting. Thursdays are getting a lot busier, which is great. A couple first Thursday meetings we had, there were probably 4 or 5 people here. So this is great to see this many faces in the audience. So good meeting overall. With that, I'd like to return control to Carol
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. I'd like to, when the general evaluator or any evaluator gives a suggestion, like you needed a stronger opening or a stronger finish, give an example of what that might have been, because I thought, yeah, I probably already know you had a weak opening, and if I can't give you an idea of what might make it stronger, then I really haven't helped you. That's just my thought. The other thing that I liked about the meeting, I would like to hear us really clap. I'd like to hear some noise here. That was if you liked the meeting. I forgot to preface that with if you liked the meeting. I thought we had a very good meeting. This is my third meeting today. I love Toastmasters. I had a meeting at 12, a meeting at 2, and I have this meeting tonight at 6. So it was a full day of Toastmastering, and I would like to return control of the meeting to our presiding officer, Michelle Hennekes.
Thank you, Sarah. So what a great meeting, and I agree with Darren. To see so many faces in the audience, especially on a Thursday night, is wonderful. So great way to kick off the new year. So we appreciate our guests. The gentlemen who were on the camera, which were Nathan, Dwight, and Brian, thank you very much. Marcus, thank you for jumping in and filling in a role. Teresa, thank you for giving us such a wonderful speech. And Anita, we're glad you're back in the class. So do any of the guests have any comments they'd like to say? Maybe Teresa, would you like to come up and say what you thought of the meeting, the format? Not trying to put you on the spot.
Thank you. Hi. Well, actually, this is completely different for me. I have been to probably maybe 30 or 40 clubs, but I've never been to a club where it's televised in a little studio setting, so it's something very fresh and new for me as I finish up my last manual in the Advanced Communication series. So I'm glad to have this opportunity to come and do the project from the TV manual on TV. So thank you for having me come out, and it's very friendly and warm here. Thank you.
Thanks, Teresa. It's always nice to hear what outsider Toastmasters think, because our club is so different. So for those of you at home, we invite you to come join us. We meet, again, the first Thursday of the month at 6 o'clock, the third Saturday of the month at 9 a.m. at the Anderson Community Center, 7850 5 Mile Road. So please come check us out. Our next meeting is February 18th at 9 a.m., and it's a unique day for us because it's our club contest. So we have the International Speech and Evaluation Contest. So love for you guys to come check it out, and I look forward to seeing you. So thank you, and I adjourn this meeting.